Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of a brand new device that isn't even available to purchase yet. This is the Switchbot Blind Tilt. So this product has literally just launched on Kickstarter today when this video is going live, and that means that you're able to get one nice and early if you do want one. Now this device is actually already in production, and that means if you buy it through Kickstarter you should have it in time for Christmas. Now, as someone who uses a lot of Switchbot products, I have been lucky enough to have this for a month to try it out before bringing you guys this video. And so in this video I'm going to talk about the setup and all the features of it and give you my verdict at the end, and hopefully help you decide whether you should pick one up on Kickstarter or not. I'm also going to be making a comparison video about the Soma Tilt, which is a similar device also on the market. And if you've been around on this channel for a while, you'll know that I reviewed the Soma Tilt about a year or so ago. If you want to be first to see that video, make sure you subscribe to this channel. So let's kick off the review of the Switchbot Blind Tilt. Now the Switchbot Blind Tilt sits perfectly in the Switchbot ethos, which is all about helping you make your existing products smart rather than having to buy a whole new product. And Switchbot have basically nailed this in the past with things like their smart curtains, but also their little button pushers. And so when I heard that Switchbot were releasing a smart blind tilt, I was particularly excited to see if Switchbot could also get this right. And at risk of giving you guys a spoiler right at the start of the video, they really have. Now when it comes to pricing, the Switchbot Blind Tilt costs $69. This is probably going to equate to about the same in pounds, so £69. And the Switchbot Blind Tilt is designed as a piece of kit that you can fit without having to modify your Venetian blinds at all. So let's talk about the design of it, because the Switchbot Blind Tilt has a nice clean white design. It's also completely rounded to try and match the shape of your rod. It's fairly light, weighing just 130 grams as well. There are two main parts of this device. The bigger cylinder contains the motor and the battery, and then there's a second smaller part which clips round your blind rod. In my opinion, the design looks nice and modern, and also because it's not massive, it does just kind of sit inconspicuously next to your rod. It's also then held on by a cable clip that goes at the top of your blinds. This leads to the included solar panel. This solar panel is designed to stick onto your window and to allow the blinds to continuously charge without you ever having to take them off. This is great because it means you never have to worry about charging it, and Switchbot also includes some cable management stuff. This keeps everything looking nice and tidy. And so other than the device itself and the solar panel, what else do you get in the box? So in the box you get a little sticker which is used for measuring your rod, but also for making sure you get the device mounted correctly. You get a little stick-on mount for the cable at the top of your blinds. You get a very long USB-C cable if you do want to charge it manually. You get some instructions, and then you also get a variety of rod clamps. These are used for making your rod thicker so it can fit within the device if you've got a slimmer rod. If you're wondering about compatibility, it works with rods with a diameter between 6.3 and 10.2 millimeters, and then also 12 millimeter rods. This basically covers like 90% of all Venetian blinds out there. And this brings us nicely to talk about the rest of the spec of this device. So the Blind Tilt has some built-in sensors and AI algorithms to help it automatically adjust your brightness preferences. What this means is you can set automations based on the light levels. And I'll talk more about those further on in the review. Switchbot say the Blind Tilt has up to 10 months battery life once it's fully charged, although this isn't something I've tested. And realistically, you're going to use that solar panel that's included, which means you'll never have to worry about charging it at all anyway, or those battery levels. If you do want to monitor the battery level, you can do that in the Switchbot app. Both the solar panel and the included charging cable connect to a USB-C port at the top of the device. The device connects to your phone and also to the Switchbot Hub Mini using Bluetooth. And what I found in using it is that the range is really impressive. My Hub Mini is basically downstairs and a couple of rooms across, and it still connects to it with no problems. Blind Tilt has two operating modes. There's a quiet mode and a performance mode. The quiet mode operates at 37 decibels and the performance mode at 47. And then finally, it's compatible with a whole variety of external services. To use any of these services, you're going to need to use it with a Switchbot Hub Mini, and this also gives you out-of-home control. So in terms of external services it is compatible with, you can use it with Apple's Voice Assistant, Google Assistant, Siri shortcuts, IFTTT, and a couple more. The only thing missing is Apple HomeKit support. And then of course it works with the Switchbot iOS or Android app. So let's move on to setup and talk about how easy is this to set up. Now in Switchbot's marketing, they say it is easy to set up in less than a minute, and this isn't really quite right. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a tricky process, but it's also not a less than a minute process. So let me talk you through what you need to do to get it set up. So first things first, you can either use the included instructions or you can let the app talk you through the setup process. The first step is to make sure the device has got some battery, and then open the app and press the plus button. This allows you to pair it into the app, and then it talks you through the instructions on the screen if you want to follow those. The second step is to measure the thickness of the rod using the included tape. This helps you know which adjustment clamp you're going to need to use on your particular rod. From there you add the adjustment. You then use that same bit of plastic we used to measure to stick onto the top of your blinds to get the position right, and then you clamp the device itself around the rod and that adjustment you've already added. Next you attach that cable clamp to the top of your blinds, make sure the solar panel connection is securely connected to the blind tilt, and then stick on your solar panel. From there you move on to configuring the blinds. And calibrating the Switchbot Blind Tilt is super easy. You simply follow the instructions on screen, which will ask you to twist the rod to the closed position, to the open position, and to the close up position. Once you've done that, the app then remembers these positions and how many turns it needs to do to open or close your blinds. All in all, I found that setup took between 5 and 10 minutes, including all of that kind of faffing around that I've just talked about. The included instructions are nice and easy to follow, and especially with those measuring devices, I think Switchbot have really thought everything through with this. So once it's set up, how easy is it to use? So once set up, there's a few different ways you might use it, and I've actually used most of these over the last month. Firstly, you can use it via the Switchbot app. From directly on the home screen, there's options to easily open and close it, or if you click through, you can do some more things. This includes a slide bar for adjusting it a bit more precisely, and also add in some extra customized settings if you want to. For example, if you really liked closed up at 75%, you could set that up there and have an easy button to press. It's also here you can monitor the battery level and see that it's charging via the solar panel. Secondly, you can set schedules or light sensing. For example, you might choose to open it at 7 in the morning and close it at 10 at night automatically. The light sensing modes also allow you to do this via the level of light. If you're using the solar panel, you can choose to do this based on the level of light from the solar panel or from the device itself. Now this feature is still in beta mode, and I found that both are a little bit unreliable at times, but actually for the most part, if you do use the light sensing mode from the solar panel, it's much more reliable than the light sensing from the device itself. This of course makes sense given that the solar panel is facing outwards, whereas the device itself is on the inside of your blinds. Thirdly, you can operate it using your voice. This might be through Amazon's voice assistant or Google's voice assistant. Now I use Amazon's voice assistant and I found that this works well every time. You can use commands like close office blinds or open office blinds or whatever you've called your blinds. And then fourthly, and this is what separates it from a lot of other products out there, you can just open and close your blinds as normal. And this is because setting up the Switchbot Tilt doesn't involve removing the rod. This means you can still twist the rod just as you normally would. This is particularly useful if you have guests and you don't want to get them onto your smart home stuff. The really clever thing is that the Switchbot Blind Tilt knows that you've changed it, and so it remembers the position that they are now in rather than the position it was in when the Switchbot Blind Tilt last operated. This means you can manually use it without messing up your settings. So all in all, just as this product is coming to Kickstarter, what's the verdict and should you think about backing it and getting one? And I think you've probably gathered throughout this video the answer is yes, you totally should. And for me, having also used the Soma Tilt 2, I'd say that this basically takes all of the things that annoy me about the Soma Tilt 2 at times and improves on them. And this is to the point that actually as Kickstarter launches today, I'm probably going to buy a couple more and replace my Soma Tilts. And there's a whole variety of reasons that Switchbot have made this such a good device. For starters, it looks really smart and just fits in nicely. It works well every single time. And I've also found that it works with a whole variety of external services. The great thing about the mode of clamping it onto your rod is that it is compatible with the majority of blinds out there, rather than you having to look at the hook at the top like many similar products. This of course also means you can still use a rod like you would with your blinds normally. And then also it's super affordable, and I don't think £70 is too bad, and actually if you buy more than one it does get cheaper as well. The only thing missing from this product in my opinion is Apple HomeKit support, which I would have loved to see. Now of course this is something that could be pushed out with a software update in the future, and I don't know if Switchbot have any plans for that or not. And that being said, even if they did say yes, we've got plans for HomeKit support, you should never buy a product based on the promise of something that will come to it. You should buy it on kind of what works at the moment. And what works at the moment with the Switchbot Blind Tilt is pretty much everything. It's a great way of making your blinds smart, it looks great, and it's a really good product. If you guys want to pick one up, I have put a link to the Kickstarter below. It's an affiliate link, so if you use that link, it will help this channel out. If you've got any questions, do stick them below, especially as this is a product that is not out market yet. I can hopefully answer some of the questions you might not be able to find out elsewhere. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.